baby.
It's 5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
Okay, welcome everybody. We are live at Tiebreakers as we are on Mondays before Inside Pirate Athletics. It's the Patrick Johnson Show after a wild weekend. Lots of notes, Philip the Ref Pilkington, lots of notes. Hello to you as we start things here. You got to be feeling pretty good. This is a rare feeling for you, Pilkington, and you've got your Panthers hat on today. And this is a rare feeling for you because your Carolina Panthers actually look like a competent football team. We'll talk to Jim Szoke about that, plus the ECU defeat. Coach Houston will also be with us on our Houston Huddle. Henry Hinton will join, so all of that is coming up during the course of the next hour. And Pilk is going to get to some ECU basketball audio. I hope he will. So I got to be pithy in the opening segment here today. But Pilk, I'll let you have your say at the beginning because I know you're a happy young fella that the Red Rifle comes out and look. Here's my thing. Why hasn't Dalton been starting in the league? I mean, he had a pretty decent career in Cincinnati, and like the last 4 years, he's been in exile. What the heck?
Yeah, I know it's weird. He started a couple games in New Orleans, but they moved on from him quick, and I don't even think he was the true starter there. I think he was there with Jameis and a couple other people.
Yeah,
so,
he was there with famous Jameis.
But either
eating
way,
the W.
keep pounding, baby. We're not going 0-17. We might go 1-16 still, but we're sure as heck not going 0-17. We will not be compared to the 77 Bucks or the 08 Lions. And we not only win, but like you said, looks like a very competent team. And I am excited for the next, at least the majority of the next 14 games. They can at least make it worth watching and not just dreadful. They might lose, but they might lose by like 10.
I got some Dalton audio too. Download all the audio from that. I'll just use that here for me because I know
you're still in the Dalton. You're still in the Dalton out of my update.
Oh no, keep it then. Keep it.
Okay.
We'll hear from him during the update then.
Yeah.
But Andy Dalton is the first player this year to have over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in a game. Deontay Johnson. We had a Deontay Johnson sighting. How about that, Pilk? And Chuba Hubbard looked pretty good too. Former Pirate Garner Minshew did not look good. 18 out of 28 for 214, a pick, and a TD.
Rough day for Uncle Rico.
Rough day for Uncle Rico. Rough day along Tobacco Road. It was UNC getting just boat raced by James Madison. James Madison, 70-50, and it wasn't even that close. Here's what the Cadillac man, Mac Brown, had to say after the game.
Embarrassing day, shocking day. You shouldn't be at North Carolina and lose to a Group of 5 team. Period. There are no excuses.
So Mac apparently retired and then unretired, or depending on who you believe or what you believe out there. And you know Mac was going to retire and do all this and say all these things because he's a little bit of a drama queen. You knew he would go there based on the fact that they're playing Duke this week. And all Duke did was go to Middle Tennessee and win after a lengthy weather delay late in that game. So right now, Duke's your only undefeated team in the FBS in North Carolina. State looked horrible. I mean, Clemson's so bad, right? That's all we hear. If I'm an NC State fan, and I know a couple of them are listening because I've had 2 or 3 of them call me today, try to call me today. I've just been too busy to take their calls. But, Pilk, if you're an NC State fan and you think you've got this great program and you think you've accomplish this or going to accomplish that, and you come out and you wind up in a situation where supposedly a program that is on the downward trend, Clemson Tigers, make you look foolish? I mean, you're delusional if you think, oh yeah, when the next round of realignment comes, we're gonna go play with the big boys. You're not gonna play with you can't compete with the big boys. Got a nice little program there. Really nice little program that wins 8 or 9 games a year. Beats the teams they're supposed to beat. There's something to be said about that. But you're not beating any of the big boys.
I want you to ask the
It's
same
not
exact question to Joe tomorrow, because my favorite thing is Joe's Dave Doran rants. And I think you can get him started. I think we can have some great radio tomorrow if you say this exactly what you said to me to Joe.
As opposed to today, is that what you're saying? Or as opposed to normally, is that what you're trying to get at?
No, it's normally great radio. There's, the best part of radio is a off-the-wall crazy rant. That's what gets the fans fired up. And if you want a good rant, you got to go to Joey Football.
Okay.
Your rants are good too, but you don't have one. It sounds like you were keeping it professional and casual, and that's good, too. But Joe's the off the walls. His name's not on the show. He's allowed to be a goofball.
What is there to rant about?
Joey
NC State is what I've told you they are.
He is. They
a
are.
Fraud.
They are.
So I mean, it's not like I'm being proven wrong there, and I don't care. Couldn't care less. But I mean, I love it because their fans don't realize they're a fraud. They're a fraud. Let's see here. AAC, Army, and Navy. I mean, how about that? Both 3-0, or both undefeated. I think Army's 2-0 in the conference, 3-0 overall. Boy, that Memphis situation didn't last terribly long, did it?
No.
About
so much for them being the
playoff party.
Yeah. I don't know, but hey, who is, right? Boise's got a loss. Northern Illinois' got a loss. South Florida, Tulane, UTSA, Memphis. That leaves I think that might leave the team that beat the Pirates the other day is the favorite.
No, because they're not good. They're not good. You mean Liberty? You mean Liberty?
Liberty,
I thought you meant, yeah.
Oh, not the Happy Apples.
Yeah,
Liberty.
But Liberty's got to go to play in Boone. If it's not this week, it's next week. I looked that up really quick, Bill. But their next game is in Boone.
Yes, it is. It's on Saturday in Boone, and the Mountaineers will be coming off that extended rest. They played Thursday night. Yeah, they looked bad,
right?
And then you got Liberty, who played Sunday morning. So
that's a clash in styles there. The folks from Boone and the folks from Lynchburg. A little bit of a clash.
The hippies against the very strong Southern Baptists. So it will be an interesting group.
So, and I know we got to get a break in here soon. Again, we're live at Tiebreakers here on the Patrick Johnson Show this afternoon, and we will be staying with you for the balance of the hour going into our Houston huddle. Pilk will be carrying you the rest of the way after that. Hopefully with some ECU basketball audio. Let's see here. This is not what I was looking for. Point is that East Carolina and the American got some pretty good news today. Memphis, along with Tulane,
UTSA and South Florida.
UTSA and South Florida have all announced in conjunction with the conference that they are staying in the American. I cannot find the article I had up. We posted. Here it is now. So, Pac-12 failed in its attempt to poach schools from the American Athletic Conference, this according to Amanda Kristovich at Front Office Sports. And, of course, the conference releasing a statement today. UTSA, South Florida, Tulane, and Memphis made a statement Monday along with the AAC conference office committing to staying put. While we acknowledge receiving interest in our institutions from other conferences, we firmly believe this is in our individual and collective best interest to uphold our commitment to each other. The 5 entities said in a joint statement that was posted to social media. The statement also suggested the schools were behind the AAC and new Commissioner Tim Pernetti's plan for innovative economic resources. Pernetti, and he told us this back, in June, when we had him on the radio, that they will explore things like private equity for the AAC. The news comes just 2 weeks after the Pac-12 agreed to add schools from the Mountain West in 2026. looking to add 2 more to maintain FBS status. Reports have previously suggested the Pac-12 was having discussions with AAC schools to fill the gap. Now the Pac-12 will have to consider other options, specifically whether to lure more Mountain West schools from that conference. Of course, that comes at a cost of about $10 million a school, and they already owe the Mountain West $43 million with Boise, San Diego, Fresno, and Colorado State. The AAC, meantime, could go on the offensive. The conference has reportedly been engaged with discussions with Air Force, and the AAC would not be bound by the same damage fee to the Mountain West in that scenario. Air Force would have to pay around $17 million in exit fees to the conference. So the other thing in this, Pilk, did we get to this late last week about $27.5 million that was reported was going to have to be paid, that the American was going to hold anybody who leaves to?
No, we didn't talk about it. I mean, I had heard that, but we did not hit on the show.
So yeah, that'll make you stay at $27 million, right?
It
That'll
will,
make you
unless
stick around.
the only way I think this doesn't happen after what the school said, if FedEx comes in and says, you know what, Memphis, we don't care what your statement is. We're going to write you the exit check, and you're going to do it, or we're pulling our sponsorship. That's the only way. That's
the only way. That's the only way that somebody would move on is if FedEx writes Memphis a check. Everybody else doesn't have the angel that would write them that kind of check. So, all right, let's hit a break. We'll come back. Pilk's going to have audio from ECU basketball practice today. So we'll hear from Coach Swartz. William Grover is here. There he is. Very excited. And when we come back, what is the purpose of this, Pilk?
This is what they play when the Panthers win a football game, baby.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You must have this as a ringtone, because don't the Red Sox have it involved in there?
Red Sox played at the middle of the 8th inning. Yep.
Okay. It's probably Pilk's ringtone. All right, when we come back, we'll talk to Jim Szoke about the loss at Liberty and the Panthers win in Las Vegas yesterday, where Kim McNeil was. Did you see that, Pilk?
I did not.
She's a Raiders fan, yeah.
Oh.
They're rooting for the Raiders.
I used to like Kim McNeil. Now it's tough to like Kim McNeil. Raiders fan?
Not everybody's perfect.
No,
Well,
Steph
she grew up
Curry
a
is, though.
Raiders fan.
Hey, Steph Curry was there repping the Panthers, baby.
Oh, he's from Charlotte. All right, we'll be back. Stay with us.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast. Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern Living's best small town.
Pirate game days, there's nothing like them. The atmosphere, the tradition, the matchups, the magical finishes. Be a part of Pirate Game Day. Season tickets are as low as $115. Reserve your seat today to be a part of the experience of Pirate Game Days at Donnie Ficklin Stadium this fall.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You ready for this?
Oh, I'm very ready. Okay, ready?
You ready? Streaming to the world at 943thegame.com. This is the Patrick Johnson Show. Now in all his glory, here's the P-Man.
All right, welcome back in. It's Patrick Johnson Show, live from Tiebreakers here on 94.3 The Game and the IBX Media app. Okay, let's bring in Szoke. We got him, Pilk?
Yep.
All right, Jim Szoke, crisscrossing the country. Szoke, let's start with your travel situation. So you leave Lynchburg, Virginia around what time on Sunday morning?
We got to where it was 2 o'clock, and I told the guys during the game, I go, you all got the post-game show. So I did the game till 2. About a 15-minute walk to the car. So 2:15, I get in the car, drove right to Charlotte Douglas Airport, got there about 5:30, caught the 7:15 flight to Vegas. As you know, Vegas from the airport to the stadium was like 10 minutes. So got a quick ride to the stadium. Got up there in plenty of time, as it turned out. The game came back on the team charter last night. We got back about 2 in the morning, so got home about 2:45 or whatever this morning, and here we are.
In 24 hours, you went from Lynchburg, Virginia, to Charlotte, North Carolina, to Las Vegas, Nevada, and back to Charlotte.
Yep, and now we're on to Cincinnati, which is a home game this week.
There you go.
Cincinnati for Bill Belichick.
Yeah. I will say this. I think that, this is very, Swift of you or Jagger of you, very rock star to just crisscross the country and be in different time zones and all these places in 24 hours. It's what a life you lead. And you were back on the radio this morning, right?
I doubt that Nick drove himself from Charlotte to Lynchburg and back at any point in his rock star travels. There was no touring.
Why don't you get a NetJets deal like
that.
Darius Rucker, who left Raleigh the other night to get a private jet to Columbia, where he could have very easily driven, but we can't have that.
Well, that would be, I'd like to turn in the bill to Clay at the ECU Sports Network and see the reaction, see what happens to that.
Well, you give it a shot, Why not? Jim Szoke with us here. Boy, I tell you what, competent quarterback seems to make all the difference, doesn't it?
And you know what? Andy Dalton played one game last year and did the exact same thing, 361 yards. 2 touchdowns when he played at Seattle week 3, and then this time throws her again well over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions in this game. So sometimes I say, Patrick, the answer is on your roster, and apparently the answer was on the roster. And he played great, and obviously 3-time Pro Bowl player. He knew the role when he came here was to help support the fact that they had brought in Bryce Young with that first pick. But man, he's just too good not to play. So obviously he'll be the quarterback again moving forward.
The great Jim Szoke with us here. This obviously gives the Panthers, a little bit of a spark on offense. He seemed to be placing the ball where, like any quarterback in the NFL should, and like any good quarterback should, where only his guys could get it. Drop that one in the bucket on the first touchdown. Just was fantastic in everything he did yesterday, and was just confident. I just overall, fabulous job by Andy Dalton.
Well, to consider, again, yes, he's been in the league for 14 years, but he only played the one game essentially last year outside of a couple of snaps. Hadn't played in this season, obviously, through the first 2 games. So even though he's been in the league a long time, it's just amazing to just pick up I mean, if you don't play golf, like if you don't go to the driving range and go play a couple rounds of golf, you're going to lose your swing a little bit. He just looked like he's been just starting all along over the past 3 years. And that was, to me, I thought there might be some, just getting timing down with receivers that you weren't working with the first team by and large throughout all of training camp and the offseason.
Jim Szoke with us. We had a Deontay Johnson signing, which was sort of exciting.
A career high receiving yards yesterday, and he was open. And then Adam Thielen left with the hamstring injury when he scored his touchdown. So Deontay obviously became even a bigger focal point in the offense. But yeah, he's going to be loved. And I mean, Deontay came in here basically he's on a 1-year deal, so this is a big year for him. So the better he plays, the better he gets paid by the end of the season by somebody. And so yeah, he looked like when he got the ball, like he was going to get every inch out of whatever rack he was going to get afterwards. He was just running all over the field and seemed to be rejuvenated. I thought Miles Sanders looked a little bit rejuvenated. The defense had a little bit more juice to it. So it is, like you said, having a competent quarterback and offense running things, there is a trickle down, I think, to like how others perform and just the amount that you see them put in.
Did Chuba Hubbard also fantastic? Yeah. I think it was a career high for him in total yardage. If you're getting that for Chuba, we could talk about Dalton, but if you get that from Chuba Hubbard in some capacity, that's a bit of a game changer too, isn't it?
He's good. I mean, he's gotten better every year. He was fast, like a track kind of a guy coming in as a rookie, but he's added to his frame every year a little bit, and he's become a better football player every year just with having the reps and the experience. He's a good player, and it's just now coming to light because now in a game like this, he got more reps. The week before, he only had 10 carries. He had 64 yards, but he had 6.4 yards per carry. So this was a game because they had the lead a little bit where they weren't playing from behind, where he could actually carry the ball enough times to get a 100-yard passing game going, or rushing game going, rather. And then he had 5 catches for 55 yards and a touchdown. So, again, you draft Jonathan Brooks. So you got him here for a reason. And I think he is definitely the future once they can get him healthy enough to get him out there on the field. But I wouldn't sleep on Chuba Hubbard. I mean, this is a guy that just hasn't had the name recognition yet, but he keeps putting games like that and stacking performances like that one. I mean, he's going to put himself up into the upper echelon of running backs because he's really that dynamic overall.
More on the Panthers tonight when Jim Szoke and company have Panther Talk on 103.7 WTIB. All right, let's talk the Pirates. Lengthy delay after the game started. Come out with their hair on fire, force the punt, come down, march down. What a run to the end zone by Jake Garcia, sacrificing nearly his own life and limb. That was a wicked hit he took. But he put it in, and look, Pirates up 17-0, had a chance to add it. They could have argued they could have gotten it to 28-0 at one point. But then, regardless of how all this falls, it seems like the game management at the end, playing with the lead, that's still something that this team is trying to figure out with its play calling menu.
Yeah, there's some things. There's some, I thought Jake Garcia probably, considering the competition, might have played his best game. Obviously, had some bigger numbers against lesser competition early on, but playing a really good Liberty team on the road. I thought he played well. That touchdown run was, all effort from the quarterback to get loose from what should have been a sack. But yeah, it just had. We almost when we got up 17-0, we said, okay, last week it was 16-0 against that. Let's learn from last week. And then, sure enough, another missed short kick, not an extra point, but a 25-yard field goal. Should have been 20-0. To your point, you start first and goal at the 7. You really would like to have gotten 7 down there. But you have Winston Wright, catchable ball at the goal line, couldn't bring it in. Maybe you go for it on fourth down. I'm sure you do go for it on fourth down at the half-yard line. But again, it's just too many of those things against the good opponents. Those things get forgotten when you win and you beat Old Dominion and you do some other things. But when you're playing really good teams and the margins are narrow, you got to make the 25-yard field goal. You got to catch some of these passes. I personally, Andrew and I looked at the replay of the Rajay Harris thing. I thought I thought you never know with technology if they'll say it was enough evidence to overturn it. I thought his knee was down, and that was disappointing to not have that drive continue when you're down in the red zone essentially there with the fumble that was called. But you got to be good enough to overcome those things, and they just weren't able. And then they couldn't. I thought the biggest thing, honestly, out of all that, they did not have an answer for Reese Smith, the slot receiver, came into the game. He had 3 catches all year, and they had been talking about they're going to feature him more, they're going to use him more with the injuries at wide receiver. But we just had no answers for him in the slot and those 3 touchdown grabs. And that's where you really can't allow them to come down the field and make those big plays in the pass.
Couple of things, Szoke. I thought Luke Larson had that sort of coffin kick punt, coffin corner punt that was fantastic, and that led to a turnover, which I thought could have been, it looked like maybe it was a touchdown, but off the turnover. And then, IBM had the interception. I thought he played fairly well. So defensively, I don't think there's any coincidence that the way the defense was creating opportunity with generating turnovers and field position and what have you, that the Pirate offense was able to, in a way, feed off of that.
Yeah, I think, complementary football is a real thing. And you talk about punting. Punting, as we talk about, is an extension of your defense. And then when your defense can either get you points or create points, they give you 2 drives, one at the half-yard line and one at the 7-yard line on takeaways. I mean, that's complementary football at its best. So there's a lot of good things going on. And so as you head into conference play, I mean, I thought, looking at it going in, I think, Texas San Antonio, first of all, is going to be maybe the hardest conference game they have this year. We'll see Army and Navy are playing good ball right now, too. But as far as what we're scheduled to play, UTSA is going to be right up there with some of the better teams in the conference, I think, because they're starting to play better now, too. So this will be another good gauge here and another chance to just, again, make those couple of winning plays, whether it's a stop on defense or whatever. It's like, as you said, they come out with their hair on fire in a lot of different categories to start the game. Keep that momentum going through 4 quarters and just put the hammer. They're learning from these situations. They're gaining valuable reps.
Roadrunners got those 2 running backs back, High and Barnes, and then top receivers back. But Owen McCowan, their quarterback, starting to really play pretty well. What impresses me about him, and I watched a couple of mashup highlight things today, I like the way they pursue the ball defensively, UTSA. They've got a couple of their top tacklers or some transfers that are coming in. I'm really impressed with the kid that's the safety that came in from Incarnate Word and is leading them in tackles, Davidson. But this group runs to the football very, very well in a lot of the plays that I've seen.
Yeah, so it's going to be incumbent that, if you're a receiver, if you're running the ball, and Rajay's good at this, is to not go down on first contact. So when they come at you, be able to get in the open field and make a man miss. Sometimes we talk so much about you got to scheme and you got to do this and that or whatever, and that all matters as far as what the play call is. But sometimes you just need a player to be special and just go make a great play. Sometimes I talked about Deontay Johnson with the Panthers yesterday. Catch the ball, have a plan when you get it. So if you know that, or you watch film study, and you see the way they attack on defense with that kind of group tackle like that, you'll put yourself in a position where you got the ball, and then you make a plan when you got it after that.
Hey, Szoke, thanks a lot. Appreciate the time.
All right, thanks, Patrick.
There he goes, Jim Szoke. You'll hear him on our sister station, Talk 103.7 WTIV, coming up at 7 o'clock with Panther Talk. Here is Philip the Ref Pilkington with the 94.3 The Game Sports Flash Update and Pirate Report. And then we're going to have Coach Houston with our Houston Huddle. Henry Hinton joins me for that. And then Pilk will have some audio for you from ECU basketball today, where they've started practicing, haven't they, Pilk? This was the first practice today, right?
Yeah, today was the first official.
And somebody say, well, don't they usually do that October 1st? Well, a lot of this is they're now playing October exhibitions at a lot of places. And a lot of places are playing these October exhibitions to get money for their NIL. So there's an idea maybe in the future for ECU. All right, here is Philip the Ref Pilkington with a Sports Flash Update and Pirate Report. And then we'll have Coach Houston join us for our Houston Huddle. And, of course, top of the hour, Inside Pirate Athletics with Coach Houston tonight here at Tiebreakers. Bill?
Thank you, Patrick. Starting in Pirate Athletics, it was a rough weekend for the Pirates as a whole. The football team fell to Liberty 35-24. They will open up conference play this Saturday when they host the Roadrunners of UTSA. Also, the volleyball team dropped a pair of matches up in Pittsburgh. One of those was to Marquette, one of them to first nationally ranked Pittsburgh. They will start conference play on Friday when they travel down to FAU. They will be playing FAU and South Florida as part of that road trip. A lot of news coming out of college athletics earlier today. UTSA, USF, Tulane, and Memphis have put a joint statement out that they plan to stay in the American Athletic Conference. Air Force has done the same and vows to stay in the Mountain West. The Panthers got their first victory of the season in Vegas yesterday. Andy Dalton talked about the team's mentality heading into the game.
I thought our guys came out with the right attitude, the right mentality from the start, and we never slowed down. And that was the fun part about it. Is it wasn't we didn't just put one drive together. We were able to do it the whole game, and the guys were having a ton of fun, and that's how it should be.
Panthers will be back in action on Sunday. You can hear it on our sister station, Talk 103.7 WTIB, as they host Andy Dalton's former team, the Cincinnati Bengals. Also, Panthers legend defensive end Julius Peppers and Southern Nash alum will be going into the Panthers Ring of Honor at halftime. Over this past weekend at Bristol, Kyle Larson brought home the trophy after leading 462 of the 500 laps in the Bristol night race. This wrapped up the first round of the NASCAR playoffs, which saw Ty Gibbs, Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr., and Harrison Burton eliminated. That'll do it for your 94.3 The Game Sports Flash Update and Pirate Report. We will be back with our Houston Huddle, brought to you by Healthwise Pharmacy, on the other side of this timeout.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Hey Glenn, let's talk about a new program at Greenville Nissan.
Sure, sometimes bad things happen to good people, like credit hiccups.
Greenville Nissan just rolled out credit forgiveness.
If you've been making consistent car payments and you're tired of that high interest rate, this program is for you.
Get into a new Nissan with a manageable payment and keep that cash in the bank.
Come visit us at Greenville Nissan and drive your Nissan home today.
Hurry, this program ends September 3rd. Greenville Nissan, where we drive to serve.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arrgh!
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
Or slap him.
Ow!
Either way, he'd probably like it. The Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Time now for Houston Huddle. Mike Houston, head coach of the Pirates, joins us this week when we have a big matchup with UTSA to start conference play. We'll get into that, and we welcome Coach into the program. Henry Hinton and Patrick Johnson with you here. Coach, as always, thanks for the time. Really appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Good start for the Pirates after that 4.5, 5-hour delay. I know certainly there's frustration with the way the second half went and the execution at times, but boy, it was really exciting that
how just kind of fired out of a cannon and fired up the Pirates came out, both on offense and on defense in that game Saturday night.
Our kids were really ready to play, and we had the best Thursday and Friday we've had all year coming into the game. So I felt like we were, going to play well, but they were very, very motivated. They wanted to end their win streak up there, and we came out and you could tell both sides were ready to go at 6:02 at the kickoff, and then you had, after playing about 5 minutes, you had the lightning, and then the 5-hour delay or whatever. But I thought the kids kept a good mindset during that time. There were are we going to get the game in? The players were very, very motivated that they wanted to play. They were willing to wait however long we needed to wait in order to play. And I thought we came back out, and there's a lot that goes into a 5-hour delay. We had to make sure that we fed them again because it had been so long since pregame meal, and you make sure they stay hydrated. But I thought they did a good job of keeping their minds dialed in, and came back out and really, we were like gangbusters when we came back out. The first thing was the punt. We darn near blocked the punt. I'm telling you, it was about an inch away from being blocked. Jamarly Riddle off the back edge. And but then, got good field position and went right down 10 plays, 68 yards, and punched it in for the touchdown. So, and I thought from there we just really had a great, first quarter, half of the second quarter, kind of deal to take the lead.
Coach, what adjustments did they make to you when you got down into the red zone after you got out to that 14.2 touchdown lead? Ended up with a field goal, then a field goal try. Was that? Did they do something differently, or was that just maybe the execution wasn't quite as crisp as it needed to be?
Well, the drive that we started on the 7, we had a false start. We traded sides with the running back. They yelled something on the other side to indicate the running back had changed sides, which we do that in practice. And one of our kids flinched, so that started off with a 5-yard penalty. Then we got down there. We had a drop pass on third down that would have got the ball to the 1-yard line. We went for it on 4th and 1, and so we ended up electing to take the short field goal, and we missed it. And I just think that took a little bit of wind out of our sails right there. But to me, the execution piece of don't flinch, catch the pass, and then hit the field goal. Those are the sequences. So I don't know. They didn't do anything different than what we anticipated. We just gotta make the play.
Coach, the whole scenario with having to wait 4 hours and 40 minutes before you go back out on the field again and play. It's interesting. You say you had to feed them again. What'd you do? Did you send somebody down to Bojangles? Where do you get food to feed all those kids?
So we had our post-game meal coming, and so we just fed them our post-game meal. And then Jake was out trying to find somebody that was open to get something for the meal that they needed at 2 a.m. or 2:30 a.m. when we finished.
Yeah.
So it was a lot logistically, but Jake Kirkendall, who's our chief of staff, we call him Marty Bird. I don't know if you know from the Ozark deal, but he finds a way to get it done no matter what it is.
I love Ozark. What did he find open at 2 a.m.?
I don't know. All I know is when we got ready to get on the bus, they had a hamburger and a quesadilla wrapped in tinfoil.
Well, there you
where
go.
They came from.
There
Some
you
gas
go.
station somewhere. You're feeding 74 players and then probably another 50 staff.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're feeding 5 people.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big order.
Yeah, I've been on those. Those charters. I know what it's all about. The defense gave up quite a bit in the second half, and we asked about Patrick already asked you about adjustments, but we've hung our hat on defense, and 2 weeks in a row, App State kind of exposed the defense a little bit. This guy was a little different as quarterback because he was not a pocket guy, and he could run, and those third down conversions just killed us. But what's going on there? Do you have concerns now about the defense? I know you lost Savone Revel, which is probably a big part of it also.
Well, that definitely doesn't help.
Yeah.
It's a generational player. You have that player, once every 10 years. And
were they taking advantage of that? By the way, were they throwing on that corner?
Well, Yes, but I don't. We didn't have huge breakdowns, and that's not necessarily the reason that we lost. But we do have to do a better job over there of not giving easy access, to throws. And in other words, we can't sit around and play scared. We got to be aggressive, and so we've got to do a great job in practice this week with that. But the big piece is we got to be great on first and second down and put ourselves in good third down situations. Coach Harrell's a lot better defense coordinator on 3rd and 10 than he is on 3rd and 2.
Yeah.
So we got to do a good job on first and second down, and then we've got to do a great job with our execution, because I remember we had them bottled up 3rd and 12. This was, I think, the first drive out of the locker room, the second half. 3rd and 12. We had a pressure from the field called, and everything was it was the perfect call. And our edge blitzer, who he's taught to attack the upfield shoulder of the quarterback and make him step up into what was a line game inside that, all the gaps field. So it was going to be a sack.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes too shallow. We worked it all week long. He comes too shallow, and the quarterback just spins out of it and takes off for about 20 yards and a first down and extends the play. So there was a little bit of that. I think the receivers did a great job making contested catches. They won the one-on-ones on 3rd down consistently through the night. There were several situations. 3 of their touchdowns were winning one-on-one battles. 2 of them were on 3rd down. So it was a combination of things. So we've got to be better. We've got to coach better. We've got to execute better. And I can promise you, I spent 2.5 hours, just me and the defensive staff, Sunday morning, looking at the game and going through every detail of, is this something that is this a missed assignment? Is this a critical error? Is this something that we're asking the kid to do that maybe he can't do? Or are we spending enough time, developing, this skill needed to play this technique right here? And so we've looked at everything to make sure that we're better prepared this week.
Mike Houston, head coach of the Pirates, ECU and UTSA at 4 o'clock on Saturday. We'll talk about the Roadrunners in a little bit. It's our weekly Houston Huddle here on the program, and it's brought to you by HealthWise Pharmacy. Rajay Harris, quite a night, scores on the jumbo package on one of the hits in the third quarter. It was ruled targeting and then overruled on review. He also got slammed down in your opening drive offensively pretty hard too. But Rajay finds the end zone again. I know he had the fumble. Boy, it was close on the review there, but Rajay Harris right now seems to be recapturing some form of a few years ago and playing pretty well for you all on the whole.
I think he is, and I think he hasn't played his best yet. He's really bothered about the fumble. He's more bothered than anybody, but that shows his commitment to the team. He wants to do everything to help us win and doesn't want to do anything to hurt us. My only thing there is just we can't put the game in the hands of the officials. We gotta go to the ground with that thing and really have it secured. So we gotta do a better job of helping him this week and making sure that he's doing a good job with that. But I think he's playing as well right now as he has maybe in his career, and I think our offensive line is getting better every week, and so I just want to see him continuing this positive trend.
Rajay, as we mentioned, took quite a shot. The shot that Jake Garcia, I thought he took a pretty good lick. He delivered it, but he took a pretty good lick on the first touchdown of the game, and that also seemed to really fire your crowd up a little bit early, as if they were not already fired up enough for Garcia to go in there as gutsy as he was.
It fired me up. It fired me up
absolutely.
From the standpoint of, that was what a play. It looks like he's sacked, and he somehow gets out of it and just goes for the goal line. And I don't want him taking hits like that. So
right.
But I do appreciate his desire to make sure that we got in the end zone. But I went around to the offense and the defense, and I said, now if our quarterback's going to lay it on the line like that, we got to all lay it on the line for him. We got to make sure we're taking care of him and protecting him. So,
Coach, I want to move on to this weekend. We got a big home game coming up with UTSA. One last question about the game at Liberty, though. I'm curious on the helmet-to-helmet contact on Rajay Harris. It looked like classic targeting, and they looked at the video and said it was not targeting. What did you get an explanation on that?
No, and the one thing with being there, we had Conference USA officials, so there's no centralized replay. If it had been American officials, there would have been centralized replay where everything is looked over at the command center at the Big 12 command center. That's where our replay goes to.
In Dallas, right?
I do feel like, and I do feel like with that this year our replay has been more consistent.
Yeah.
And so,
I couldn't for the life of me figure out how they. You see these targeting.
I thought the last one against App last week was more targeting than the first one was.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, this one on Rajay, the guy knocked himself out, that
kid was out on the sideline.
Yeah, he lunged at Rajay. He led with his helmet and hit him with the crown of the helmet on the crown of Rajay's helmet, and I was like, my God, that's classic targeting right there. And then when they came back and wiped it off, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
me too. I went and checked on Rajay. He was fine.
Yeah. Well, I hope that kid's okay. That looked like a really bad collision, which is why that rule exists, actually.
No doubt.
All right, let's talk about UTSA. They've had 2 big wins and 2 big losses. They lost to Kennesaw, won big over Kennesaw State to start the season. Won 45-7 this past week over Houston Christian. They've had big losses at Texas State and at number 2 Texas. Tell us what your big concerns are going into this game with UTSA.
They are very talented. They've got running backs are back. Their top receiver, played against us last year, was a good player. I think the quarterback is getting better every week. I think defensively they return a lot of guys from last year. They got a nose guard preseason all conference, big up front, play a lot of people. I think they're a really good football team. I think we need to play really well this Saturday, but I also think that we're coming off back-to-back games where we've played better and better, and I think we've got a really good football team. I think it's going to be one heck of a ball game.
Coach, when you look at it, big crowd expected, 4 o'clock family weekend, and as you say and said this weekend, a couple of plays made, and you're 4-0, and you can't really look back at that. But still, It's the conference opener, and the team is playing a lot better this year than they certainly were a year ago. So, I think obviously with it being family weekend, there'll be a big crowd, and hopefully not only will Pirate Nation show out, but you got to hope that the students will show out too, because they've been amazing the first 2 home games.
They've been awesome. Our goal is to take care of ECU. We got to focus on getting better this week and do whatever it takes to go 1-0. We have a great opportunity this weekend. I would encourage our fan base to show up. I promise you our kids are going to play their tails off. It's going to be a good ball game.
Hey, Coach, thanks for the time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike.
I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Take care. Have a great week.
That was our Houston Huddle, brought to you by Healthwise Pharmacy. You can hear that again tomorrow morning on our sister station, Talk 103.7 WTIB, as part of Talk of the Town with Henry Hinton and Patrick Johnson. We're going to take our final time out here on the Patrick Johnson Show, and on the other side, we'll hear from comments from Mike Schwartz today as the Pirates began basketball practice ahead of their 2024-2025 campaign.
We're down to the final days of our summer sales event at Greenville Toyota.
Lease new RAV4s, $319 a month. Test drive the redesigned 2025 Camry, all with our advantage.
It's your last chance to save at Greenville Toyota.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Everybody loves Tiebreakers. Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
Let's go! Woo! Woo! Yeah! Football time!
Set the tone. Kyle, tie your shoes, tie your shoes. Yeah, good job.
Woo! Yeah!
Grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild.
Summer is here, and Sawyer's Fun Park is having a toddler summer special. From 10 a.m. to 12 noon, Monday through Friday, Sawyer's has a $10 2-hour unlimited pass for ages 2 to 4. That's one toddler and one parent for just $10 every weekday morning. Sawyer's Fun Park summer hours are Monday through Thursday from 10 to 8, Fridays and Saturdays from 10 to 9, and Sundays from 12 to 8. Book your tickets online at SawyersFunPark.com and beat the heat this summer at Sawyer's Fun Park.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Hurry, the summer savings event is coming to an end. Don't miss your chance.
Enjoy your summer in a new Corolla for just $219 a month or a Highlander for only $399 a month. Got a trade? Get cash for it or trade for a new Toyota.
Hurry into Greenville Toyota today.
And now, the stunning conclusion of the show. It's the P-Man here on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back into the Patrick Johnson Show. P-Man is getting ready for Inside Pirate Athletics with Coach Mike Houston, which you can hear right here on 94.3 The Game at the top of the hour. Pirate basketball got underway earlier today, and Coach Swartz talked about how excited he is to coach this year's ball club.
Real excited, man. Love this team. Stephen, love this team. It's a great group. It's been a good summer, been a good preseason camp, and excited to kind of take the next step today.
The Pirates will be taking that next step, moving on from just workouts and summer activities into a true, more formal practice setting. Practice getting started a little earlier than it used to with all these scrimmages that happen in October now. They've allowed teams to start starting a little earlier. Obviously, the season will start the first Monday of November. And that's where the Pirates will get it rolling. Still unsure about that conference schedule. Actually, was talking to Grady Dillon, the sports information director, and he said, unfortunately, the conference has not told him anything. He said that it will be ready to release it to all of the Pirate Nation as soon as they let us know, but the conference has not gotten out to him about the conference slate. So if you're wondering why the conference slate's not out, it is totally the conference office. This is not an ECU thing. So Grady does a great job, and he will let us know as soon as it comes out as to what the conference slate is. So Coach Houston talks about kind of that transition, what they did over the summer, and how that's transitioning into today and more of a true practice.
Well, we took that trip this summer to the Bahamas, so we had a chance to do a little bit more. You get some extra practices. So we had a little bit more of a team practice feel this summer, including the normal workouts and skill development. And then we've had a 4-week preseason, have had 12 workouts that have been a little bit of a combination of both. Started to get a little bit more into live stuff and 5-on-5 stuff as the preseason ended, and we'll go to that next step today. So, but just again, can't reiterate it enough. Just love this group of guys.
And one of the big things that this team got to do over the summer was take that trip down to the Bahamas. They got to play the Bahamas national team, as that team obviously was not participating in Paris in the Olympics. So Coach Swartz talked about how this team was able to grow together both on and off the court with that international trip.
That's the best piece of it. The basketball part was really good, and we got to see some things. And experiment with some different lineups and rotations and things like that. But it really is about the camaraderie and the time together and this team coming together and kind of the climate of college basketball. So many new players on so many different teams that a trip like that you're very thankful for because of the time you get together.
Yeah, that really is special to get to do something like that because you think about athletics and, that brotherhood, that bond that you go through with your teammates because you go through the blood, sweat, and tears is second to none. And unfortunately, a lot of times nowadays, because guys only spend 1 year together, you don't get as many as those opportunities. Like a lot of us did, growing up playing high school athletics, you get to, your graduating class, you're with them for 4 years. Same thing at college. It used to be, hey, there were even on a basketball team, there were 2 or 3 other guys that were your year. Then there was, the guys that were a year behind or ahead of you. At least spent 3 years with those guys, and that's something you don't really get. So I thought it was really cool that the team got to go out to the Bahamas this year and experience that. And speaking of bringing in a bunch of new players, Coach Schwartz kind of gave us a scouting report on the 6 new transfer faces that we will be seeing this season.
This group has been really good. They've gelled well together. I think we're going to get a lot of contributions from the new guys, starting in the front court with somebody like C.J. Walker, a very athletic front court player that's got versatility. In the back court, transfer Julian Samaro has brought a lot of energy, a lot of skill, a lot of experience to this ball club playing in the back court. Jan Farrell can really shoot the ball, the transfer from St. Bonaventure. A couple junior college guys in terms of Travion LeBeau and Jay Shane Woodard really have been excelled this summer and so far in the preseason. And then the one other transfer has been Jordan Riley, who our fan base is very familiar with from Temple, just a physical guard, kind of in the mold of an R.J. Felton in terms of how he plays. So, again, this group has really come together well with the returning guys, R.J., Cam Hayes, Sear, and Cal.
That will do it for our Pirate Report segment of the show. We want to thank Patrick for being on today. Thank Henry Hinton for his hand in the Healthwise Pharmacy Houston Huddle. Thanks to Coach Houston. Thanks to Jim Szoke. I was a little worried when I called him that he was still going to be asleep, but he said he was able to get up earlier this afternoon. So I always appreciate Jim's time. And thank you guys for tuning in. So stay tuned for Inside Pirate Athletics. And we will talk to you tomorrow here on the Patrick Johnson Show, Pirate Nation.